Good morning. Lots of meditation going on here this morning, let me tell you. Recently, in fact, lately, I've been hearing from all sorts of quarters in my life of people asking, how is it going to happen? How are the changes going to occur that you're telling us are coming? So I think I'm going to entitle this morning, Miracles in a Modern Age. So I asked the question, what is a miracle? If we could turn back the clock, go on a time machine, go back to 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, whatever, into our relatively recent past, in terms of geological time, a moment, and we were to bring some of today's inventions back with us to that time a couple of centuries ago, say, and we were to demonstrate a cell phone, a cigarette lighter or other fire stick, some of the weapons that we've developed, a radio, a television. We were to bring some of these modern things that we take for granted in our day and age back into a previous generation, a few generations earlier. How do you think our modern invention would look to those that didn't understand how it worked? I'm sure many would say, it's a miracle. Wow, it's a miracle. To us, it's technology. It's something that we've learned how to make the universe that we live in, the created world, the physical world. We've learned how to make the elements respond to what we want the elements to do. And it's certainly no miracle to a person that understands. Miracles are miracles when someone doesn't know how it's going to work or how it can possibly work. So as we look into our future, where we're going, and we see where we are now, for most people, it's pretty clueless as to how we can possibly get there from here. We just don't understand how it's possible. And that's what I'm running into when I talk about things like the restoration of the Republic for the United States of America, or when I talk about this new world that I can see and that I've seen my whole life inside of me, and that many of my friends on Facebook and on YouTube have also seen. We've seen the archetype of tomorrow's world in our very soul today. And yet, to myself and to many of us, we really don't know how we're going to get from here to there. Because when we look at what is here, we look at the insurmountable obstacles that seem insurmountable, like the entrenchment of our system, the structure of our system. We think, how can we get from this that we're familiar with to that where everyone is free, where everyone is able to live a life totally different from what we're able to live now? And what are some of the obstacles that we're facing right now today? The big one is our monetary system. As I've said before, our monetary system is total fraud. The bankers, the lawyers, the governments, the corporations have been playing a Ponzi scheme and a fraud game for a very long time. And people look at it and say, how can we be free when we've got all of this beast, this monster to contend with? How are we going to bring that monster down in a way short of war? I pointed out last night to one questioner, he says, there's just so few of you trying to reestablish the Republic for the United States of America. And I reminded this gentleman that, yes, that's true. And that's the way it was back in the Revolutionary War time in American history. It was not the majority of people living in America that were on board and wanting to establish a republic. And even in those that were wanting to establish a republic, there was the element from the banking cartel in England that were playing a role. Alexander Hamilton played a role in wanting to introduce the first central bank. And then there was the second central bank. And now we have the Federal Reserve. And these people have been at this game for a long time, and they've perfected the game. This is the argument that I was hearing from this gentleman. And another gentleman in the conversation, it was the Spiritual Enlightenment group that I went to last night. Another gentleman pointed out that the corporation took over from the Republic the same way. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. And gradually they had taken over the entire Republic, which was never taken away. It was just overlaid with a fiction. Much like our straw man has overlaid us with a fiction because we were too ignorant to know what they were doing. And as long as our lives are going smoothly and didn't have enough divine discontent, we went along with the ride and we thought that the straw man was us. We didn't know. We didn't know. So many people, when they look at what we visionaries are saying is going to happen, they don't see a connect. They don't see the bridge between where we are and where we're going. And sometimes, neither do I. In all honesty, neither do I. Sometimes when I'm in that mental space of doubt or of worry or of fear, then I can't see it either. And I get in that place sometimes. I do. And so do you. So does everyone. It's not new. But when I am in that place where I am seeing, where I am sensing the interconnectedness of all life, when spirit seems to be raining down upon me with divine grace, I have no trouble seeing the images that I'm given of where we're going. And very, very, very rarely do I see the bridge. But sometimes I can see the bridge, and it seems like a miracle from where I am right now, because I still don't see the how. I see the bridge, but I don't see the how we're going to cross that bridge, how we're going to get there from here. And I'm convinced in my mind, and in my heart, and in my soul, that the only way we can get there is when we first accept and be truthful about the here. When we can take responsibility for the here, then we're able to cross the bridge. That's why I do Ho'oponopono. And it used to be that I would select individuals that were troublesome to me. Lately, Spirit's been having me say, okay, world, I take all of you, the whole world, into my heart. And I say, I love you. Just like God, for God so loved the world. That's what I do. For God so loved the world. For Ron so loves the world. I love you, world. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry there's been this disconnect. And that we've forgotten our own nature and our own being. I'm sorry. We've taken our inheritance of becoming physical beings and we totally forgot. And I say to the world, please forgive me. Please forgive me. And thank you for letting me see and to understand more, to stand under the divine grace, to stand in the divine grace, and to trust that this world is going to change. This time without bloody revolution. I really see it happening without tremendous bloodshed. Not that there won't be any bloodshed. I didn't say that. But not killing 9/10 of the world population or any ridiculous thing like that. I don't see the major cataclysms that some predicted years ago and that even I saw in my past, because I didn't know then what I know now. But now it's not so big a miracle, because I realize that even scientifically, we as co-creators, what we envision happening, what we look for, we're able to influence actual physical events, actual things that can be measured. We're able to influence it by focus, by intention, by meditation, by contemplation, and by acceptance. We're able to transmute things that we thought were fixed. We're able to shift the reality and change the paradigm. And it's not really a miracle when you know what you're doing. But we still have to make a leap of faith. The leap of faith is jumping over the doubt part of us and trusting the intuitive part of us that works by simply knowing. Not even being able to explain the how, but simply knowing these changes are here because I feel them in me. And knowing that scientists have told us that when the critical mass is reached, it shifts everything. It is not a majority democratic thing where everybody has to vote for it. The few make the changes that are necessary for the many. And I believe that's what's happening in our world today. A few are making changes in the way we see the world, and the changes we are making in ourselves have reached critical mass, and the shift is inevitable. And it will only appear to be a miracle to those that don't yet know the how. And yes, I still believe in miracles, because sometimes I'm one of those that don't understand the how. I leave you with these thoughts to ponder as I've been pondering them myself. Think about it. Are you willing to accept the miracle? Jump 100 years into the future. It will be taken for granted. It won't seem like a miracle at all. How we made the jump, we're going to have the answers. The pieces of the puzzle are going to be put in place, and we're going to know. Be patient, folks. Be patient. The changes are here now. The paradigm is here now. The new paradigm, the new age. It's not a bad word. Everything is here right now. And a few are waking up for the many and will shift everything. Namaste. Have a beautiful day on this Saturday. Thank you very much.